Welcome back, everybody. My name is Damon. Brian here is going to give us... Nope, I already did it wrong. Ryan here is going to show us another look at one of my most anticipated games, Tom Clancy's The Division.
How
Brian,
you doing?
thanks so much for coming to the show. You had quite a showing yesterday.
Yes.
Demos on both Microsoft and Ubisoft's conference.
Yep.
It's looking really good. You showed that trailer during the Ubisoft conference.
Yes.
Kind of a tearjerker, kind of an emotional trailer there.
Yeah, I cry every time.
Yeah?
It's, we're really, really proud of it. I think it was, for us, it's about getting the emotional connection to, I think my mic is going wacko. The emotional connection to what you're doing in the game, what happened with the fall of society. It kind of follows the story of this family before we go into the time lapse with the disease coming down, and the people at Blur and our creative team did a great job.
I love the idea of telling the story through a time lapse sequence.
Yeah.
But you don't even see any human characters.
No,
until
it's called Tragedy is Invisible.
Yeah.
And very not smart people like me were asking where are the characters even a week ago.
Yeah.
Before my brand manager turned to me and said, Ryan, it's called Tragedy is Invisible.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. So
it came down hard.
Are you setting the tone for the game here? Is this a very somber game?
Yeah, I think it's the game. It's also the universe. The kind of putting a relatable human touch to we're an action. The Division is an action RPG. There's a lot of combat. There's a lot of fighting. So what are you fighting for? What are the people that remain that are left in this terrible situation?
So many little details to notice. First, the door gets boarded up. Then there's a shotgun blast through it. Then there's a bookcase pushed against it.
Yeah, it's very somber. It's kind of a hyper acceleration to the point where you start playing the game.
But then it ends on a more uplifting note.
Absolutely, it's for hope.
Yeah, for sure.
In the end. So
I mean, that part of it is almost as much of a tearjerker as the sad setup, I thought.
Yeah, I think it's also to introduce kind of the Division as itself. Like, who are you going to be playing? Why is it important? Why is it cool to be a Division agent? And what will I be doing? And in this case, it's about helping the people that are being kind of brutalized in this situation by the thugs you see in the background.
Sure.
But someone's got to be there to pick it up.
The game is about banding together. Sort of would you say it's being designed with cooperative play in mind?
Absolutely. If you remember last year, we were talking about from the ground up, since the conception of the game, it's a bit about multiplayer, having that in mind. So you can play the game alone all the way through to maximum level, but everything is better when you play with others. So having seamless matchmaking, teaming up for PvP, those kind of things are the goal of the game.
Are you giving us a glimpse at character types, enemy types here?
Yes, so this is kind of the first introduction to the factions in the game of the Division. So these guys are the Cleaners. They're a roaming faction that moves around the city, attracted to higher levels of virus. And they're extremely aggressive and dangerous when you come across them, and you're also going to want to be in a group. You're not going to want to take them on alone. So if you come to our booth in the backstage, you get to see the Cleaners in action.
Wow. So are the survivors, are they immune to the disease or to the outbreak?
Well, I mean, the virus kind of has a few categories. So it's a weaponized virus that is unleashed on the city, and it has a very high mortality rate, about 90%. But in general, you always have about 10% of people that are immune anyways.
Yeah.
So there is still people dealing with the quarantine situation, and there's people that survive the virus itself. And now we moved into our main stage demo at Microsoft. So this is the gameplay demo that we had.
What part of the game would you say this is sliced from?
It's about kind of your mid-level journey of characters. They're about level 15 in the game. And we wanted to, if you remember last year, we got a glimpse of Manhattan. from Brooklyn,
Yeah.
and now we're over in Manhattan. So we start with a kind of an iconic Madison Square Garden area. Yeah, and this is the map of where we've gone to from
So
last
cool,
year.
right?
Yes. So, you know, the map is very important for our players. It's very important in the game. Being able to choose where and what you want to do in the game come through the map.
Is the light on your backpack important?
It's our you know, part of the Division kit. You have your backpacker, your go bag. You have your watch, and then your contact lens, which is your UI in the game.
Yeah.
So this is something new for this year. This is what we call Echo, which is a 3D rendered realization of all kinds of digital data you get from closed circuit cameras, from cell phone calls, and then can be projected, and you can reveal things about the story, details about the environment. You can find loot. So it's an investigation tool for our agents. And now we see the effects of the virus with, there's going to be a lot of dead bodies around in the game.
I brought Chris. Hey, Chris. Hey, let's open up the area a bit.
How many people can you group up with?
A full group is 4, and then the companion drone would be, so 4-point drone for a full group in the Division.
Alright, so what do we got here? Leads by the base and behind the truck. Marking them up green.
Okay, let's take these
And
guys
so they
out
got to
first.
look at basically the elites that are outside the base of operations, and this is also something new. We have added a kind of a quick switch for our skills in the game, so you can load out a certain amount of skills that you can swap really quickly between.
I'll pull aggro.
And then, you know, the synergy between players in a group is really important for us in the game. So we want to show off the synergy you have between skills, between the different weapons you're using, and the different members of the group. So they're all at different tactical points, different cover points, and using different skills.
You see there's damage data coming up as you shoot people?
Yeah, so it's definitely RPG. Everything is wrapped in an RPG skin.
I love that.
Yes, and here we're going to see the destruction kind of showcase for what we can do with snowdrops. So all the materials in the game, from metal to glass to wood, have their own unique destruction, which is we want to push the limits for this generation of games.
The drone was flashing like it's like a flash bang
so
drone?
the drone's able to mark enemies. It's able to flush enemies out of cover. It can highlight areas on the map for different resources for the players.
I like the splattering paint there
Yes,
too.
yes, yes.
Oh, there's a guy right behind me.
Oof.
All right, you're fine. Get up.
So we got to look at the recovery mechanic in the game, which is also new this year. So Bronson, or player 3, goes down. He's able to be revived when Megan puts up the turret to take the aggro from the enemies. And now we just have the big bad elite left. So they kind of focus them, and we've modded the seeker mine, if you remember from last year, to a cluster mine. So now it jumps up in the air and can do area damage and a lot of it. And then of course a legendary drop.
Sure.
You know, off of the last elite.
So now you get to set up your base of operations.
Yes. So the base of operations is kind of a stronghold or a foothold in each district, and they're areas that have been kind of abandoned by either military or Sarah, which is our FEMA in the game. And the agents will be able to get them back online and upgrade them with the different modules, which will help them not only for their agent, but also the group that they're in.
It looks awesome. It looks like my kind of game, for sure.
Great.
Ryan, thanks again so much for bringing the game by. It's
Thank
out
you,
next
thank you.
year.
It's out next year, 2015, on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
Stay tuned for lots more here on the E3 2014 IGN live show. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to hibernate until 2015 when I can play The Division.
All right.